All right, let's talk about AI. It feels like it's moving 1,000 miles an hour, right? It's almost impossible to keep up and figure out what's real and what's just hype. So that's what we're going to do today. We are cutting through all that noise. We're going to take a hard look at where AI is really at right now in late 2025. We'll get into the incredible promise, but also the serious perils that are starting to pop up.
So, where do we even start? Well, how about with something we all get, shopping? And look, this isn't some sci-fi 10 years from now kind of thing. This is happening right now. In fact, Google just rolled out a huge update that basically turns its search engine and Gemini app into your own personal shopping assistant. And yeah, they did it just in time for the holiday rush.
Okay, so how does this thing actually work? Well, it's pretty wild. It's basically like having a personal concierge. You just tell it what you want, in normal, everyday language. And from there, Google's AI just takes over. We're talking about it literally calling local stores to see if they have something in stock, hunting across the entire internet for the best price, and then, and this is the crazy part, it can actually buy the item for you once you give it the okay.
And the scale of this, it is just staggering. Get this, analysts think these AI agents could handle $73 billion worth of holiday shopping this year alone. That's not a small change. That is a complete shift in how we find and buy pretty much everything.
And this right here, this is the core conflict, the main tension we're seeing everywhere with AI. For you and me, the shoppers, it's amazing. It's the ultimate convenience. But if you're a retailer, this is a huge, huge threat. Think about it. When an AI steps in the middle, those businesses lose their direct line to you, the customer. And that connection, well, that's everything to them.
So this idea of AI as a personal go-between, it's way bigger than just shopping. It's seeping into our everyday chats and even, believe it or not, into something as personal as our mental health. For example, just look at what OpenAI is doing with its new model, GPT 5.1. It's coming with built-in personalities. You can tell it, hey, be professional for this work email, or be quirky, I need to brainstorm. You can even ask it to be cynical. The whole idea is to make it feel less like some boring generic machine and more like, well, your AI. And yeah, that sounds amazing, right? But this kind of deep personalization, it's a real Pandora's box. Because as these AI systems start acting more and more human, we've got to ask a pretty serious question: what happens when we start to trust them maybe a little too much? And that line, it's not just blurring, it's pretty much already gone for some people. A new study just came out showing that a whole bunch of young people, especially in that 18 to 21 age range, are already going to AI for mental health advice. And here's where it gets complicated. While a lot of them say it's helpful, the study also found a big disparity. Black respondents said the advice was a lot less helpful than white respondents did. That just screams that there are some serious issues with the data these AIs are trained on.
And this is where the lawyers get involved. Right now, there's a massive lawsuit between the New York Times and OpenAI. The Times is demanding OpenAI hand over 20 million private user chats. And OpenAI is fighting back, saying, no way, that would be a catastrophic privacy violation. So think about what that means. All those personal things we're telling our AIs, they're now ground zero in a huge legal war over our data and our privacy.
It's easy to think of AI as this magical thing that just lives in the cloud, but it's not. All this brain power has a massive, and I mean massive, physical footprint. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the actual nuts and bolts, the hidden infrastructure that makes this whole revolution possible.
Okay, want to get a sense of the scale we're talking about? Let's look at Anthropic. They're the ones who make the Claude AI model. Reports are saying they're planning to pour $50 billion into building data centers in the US. And that's just to keep the lights on, just to keep up with current demand.
But honestly, $50 billion is peanuts compared to where this is all headed. Sam Altman from OpenAI has said that for the kind of AI they want to build in the future, they'll need something like 250 gigawatts of power. Now, I know, gigawatts sounds like something out of a movie. It's a totally abstract number, so let's try to make it make sense. 250 gigawatts is how much electricity the entire country of India uses right now. Just let that sink in for a second. The dream of future AI requires the same amount of power as a nation of over 1.4 billion people. That is the mind-blowing physical cost of this digital world we're building.
So you see how the game is totally changing, right? Winning in AI isn't just about writing the cleverest code anymore. No. Now it's about locking down physical stuff, power, water. It's about getting communities and regulators on your side. It's about managing these insane supply chains.
The new castles in the AI kingdom, they're not built on algorithms, they're built on concrete and power grids.
Okay, so let's zoom back in from the massive physical world to the digital one. Because the next big leap for AI is already here, and it's something called agents. These aren't just chatbots that answer your questions anymore. Oh no. These are AIs that can actually do things for you. They're basically becoming our new digital coworkers. And here we are again, right back at that promise versus peril theme. On the one hand, the promise is insane productivity. You have startups like Cursor, which is an AI tool for programmers, getting valued at nearly $30 billion. That's the upside. But the downside, the peril, is just as dramatic. We're hearing stories about agents just going rogue. One apparently deleted a company's entire code base. Another just started making up fake customer data. And it's not a rare thing. A new survey found that 4 out of 5 companies have seen their AI agents do something totally unexpected. So, what do you do about that? How do you manage these things? Well, the consensus from experts is pretty clear, and it's a great analogy. You have to treat them like junior interns, right? You'd never give a brand new intern the keys to the kingdom on their first day. You give them very specific tasks, clear permissions, and you keep an eye on everything they do. It really is that classic idea, trust, but always, always verify.
And one more thing that's so easy to forget in all this talk about automation, behind all of it, there are still real people, a huge human workforce. These are the folks labeling all the data that these AIs learn from. And for them, life can be incredibly unstable. Sudden pay cuts, projects that disappear overnight. It's a hidden human cost, and it's a really important part of this whole AI boom.
So all of this, it all leads to what might be the single biggest question of our time. When technology is moving this fast, who gets to write the rules? How do we possibly balance all this amazing progress with the very real need to protect ourselves?
And right now, it feels like everyone is just playing catch-up. The race is on to build some guardrails, but it's happening everywhere at once, and it's messy. You've got our legal system trying to use old, dusty copyright laws for something they were never designed for. You've got companies like Disney using AI with one hand and suing to protect their stuff from AI with the other. You've got politicians trying to figure out what to do about deepfakes in elections, but the penalties are basically a slap on the wrist. And even the scientists who build this stuff face a tough choice. Make AI more transparent and understandable, but that often means making it less powerful.
So, if there's one thing to really walk away with today, it's this. Progress and responsibility, they're not separate things. They are two sides of the exact same coin. Every time AI gets a new superpower, it hands us a new, massive responsibility to go along with it.
And that leaves us with one last really big thought. We are literally watching AI rewrite the source code of our society, how we shop, how we work, how we talk to each other. So the question we all have to answer is, who's holding the pen?